ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, thank you for your presence here. I enjoy your company, though I am disabled to some extent. But I enjoy interacting with you based on the scriptures I study. Because, as Swami Vivekananda ji put it, it's a study on man-making, character-building education. And the concept of Dharma, which is translated in different times in a different manner, but the concept needs a little elaborate definition, elaborate description. It cannot be a single word translation for the word Dharma. Dharate iti dharma. What does it mean? It is a basket full of noble ideas, holding on to which we, the most evolved biological creature, we prevent ourselves from degrading ourselves to an ordinary beast or an animal, holding on to which we prevent ourselves from degrading ourselves. That is a negative definition. And what is the positive definition of Dharma? Holding on to which you upgrade yourself to be one with God, to find out your potential divinity. This is the concept of word Dharma, and the scripture is a study of how to make it practical in our lives. It is not a domain of ideas only. It is not an intellectual gymnastic. It is a concrete, tangible, viable methodology by means of which you outgrow your limitations and you become one with the divine. This egocentric personality develops slowly, gradually, by following the instructions of life and living, and that gradual development, egocentric existence, ends up in being one with the divine. This is the essence or the purpose of this study. Now we have, after a long break, spent 2 of our previous discourses in refreshing our memory. We start on the 5th, where we stopped a few years ago because of so many unavoidable reasons. Now, the 5th chapter starts with a question. Question by whom? Question by Arjuna, who is nobody else but our representative, who has the privilege of interacting with God incarnate in the form of human as Sri Krishna. He and Arjuna are interacting, Arjuna represents us, the sum total of our queries, how to manifest the divinity already within ourselves, and what is wrong with the way of our living, the way we are used to live. What is wrong about it? Why so much of spiritual values and spiritual ideas and spiritual disciplines? Why? What for? These are the pertinent questions of the modern age. Because in the modern age, we have educated ourselves to believe, to have faith that whatever is perceptible by our five sense organs is real, is true, the rest is, excuse my language, hogwash. That is what we are today. So what is wrong with our way of living? So the Gita starts in a dramatic manner, as we have seen. Arjuna, the most educated, most qualified, the most able person of that age, educated in various branches of tertiary knowledge, that Arjuna, with all his might and main and self-confidence, wanted to fulfill his duties of life. And what was his duty being a Kshatriya? Defender of fair play, defender of equity, defender of justice. And a great injustice was being perpetrated on his clan by his collaterals. So, being a defender of faith, justice, equality and fair play, it was his duty to stop that. And no negotiations could help, so ultimately they decided to settle the issue on the battlefield. Whosoever wins the throne of Indian Empire. And at that cusp of that moment, Arjuna feels himself totally incompetent to pay the price to fulfill his duties. Why so? He felt emotionally attached to his grandfather, the great-grandfather, to his uncles, to his relations, friends, either blood relationship or emotional relationship. They were facing each other to kill each other to enjoy the throne of India, Bharat. And he totally collapsed and he says, I can't. I can't kill my near and dear ones for the sake of the greed of the throne. Greed of the throne. The concept of duty of a Kshatriya disappeared. He was overcome by emotional attachment. And he said, let them rather kill me, let them enjoy the throne, or otherwise I leave the battlefield and become a mendicant monk living in hills and forests and dales all by myself. Now, this attitude of leaving the battlefield and being a monk, a mendicant monk, is based on defeatism and escapism. It is not based on intellectual, rock-solid, crystal-clear conviction. So what happens is, the concept of sannyasa, that is, total rejection, is being interpreted as total rejection of the duties of your life, and you run away from it. Why? Because you are unable to pay the price for it. Is that human? Does that appeal to you? After all, meet so many challenges life. How come here I'm taking shelter behind the scene of being a highly evolved human being, a mendicant monk, and I walk out on everything of the world? How is it? Behind all this, it is escapism, defeatism, running away. And Sri Krishna, his teacher, his guide, his friend, his philosopher, he says, nothing doing, Arjuna. I would not allow you to take a wrong move, make a wrong move, take a wrong step. Sorry. I would not allow you to do so. That is how the Gita starts. Man-making, character-building education, which ends up by finding the potential divinity which is already within us. I am. Who am I? And as soon as you ask me, who are you? Or if I have to prove my identity, who am I? Here is my passport, here is my biodata, CV. We have identified ourselves with what we are not. Atasmin tat buddhi. That which we are not, we have identified ourselves with that so deeply that we have forgotten our true original nature. So whole of these 18 chapters, all the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutra, the Prastantrayas, teach you from various perspectives. Why various perspectives? Because we have various backgrounds. We are not a machine-made industrial product that we are same from A to Z. Each one is a world in itself. And that is why the philosophy is known as Veda Antaha. Antaha is the last word, the climax of experiencing. Veda is not intellectual conviction. That intellectual conviction transforms into experiencing. That is Veda. Veda Anta, the climax of your experiencing. What is that? I say Ahamasmi, I am. You ask me, who are you? And I throw my passport. That's what I am. That is an erroneous identity. You are that. What do you mean by you are that? You are that immutable, indescribable, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, the soul, the spirit, the Holy Ghost, Allah, Khuda, Musa, call it by any name. Thou art that. And you say, oh, is that so? I am that. I am Atma Brahma. I have that. Let me dive into the discipline of attitudinal correction. I correct my attitude, bringing out of that error, putting into its right place. Attitudinal correction. And the end result is, I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman, the Absolute. It is indescribable, but it is experienceable. Veda Antaha Vedant. So, dear, now, Arjuna had some questions. In the beginning of the 3rd chapter, he asked Krishna that where do I stand now vis-a-vis the ideology that you have spread in front of me? Where do I stand now? Sri Krishna promptly said, I have spoken about this to Vivaswan and Manu, who were born thousands of years ago. Arjuna picks his ears. You are my cousin brother, my aunt's son. We are first cousins. You may be a little elder to me by age, but how come you say you have given this advice to Manu thousands of years ago? Who are you? He says, I will come to that later on. First listen. In this world, I have enunciated 2 procedures. Karma Yogena Yoginam and Sankhyanam. Sankhyate Anena Iti Sankhya. Though there is a school of philosophy known as Sankhya Yoga, but here the word Sankhya means deeply hair-splitting analytical. Am I the body? Am I the mind? If I am the body, why do I say my body? I don't hear anybody say, I body. My body. That means this body belongs to you. You have developed an ownership on it. You are not that. If you had your body, you should have said, I body, I mind, I life, I intellect. Nobody says so. They are all mine. Who are you then? Lord of all that? You are the central pivot, the central pillar, along which the whole world is rotating. Are you that? Yes, you are that. So Sri Krishna says, I have established these 2 philosophies, duly supported by methodology of practicing and goal-oriented. It is not moving in circles, intellectual gymnastics. I have enunciated that. If you have, how do you claim this authority on yourself, my cousin, brother Krishna? We belong to this age, and you say you have advised so many. And the fourth chapter deals with answer to this question: who is Sri Krishna? And he, in his own words, says, I am the divine. I have born in a human form to help my children to find their way back home. And he explains to him everything. But Arjuna is still novice, as we are. So questions keep on arising in Arjuna's mind. The fifth chapter starts with a very, very intelligent, interesting question. He says, Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punarjogam cha samsasi. Let us stop here. Let us paraphrase it and break it up. Hey Krishna, in the last few chapters, you have spoken of rejection of duty as we know it to be, and performance of duty in a particular fashion. And I am confused, Krishna, of these two methodologies, which is the better of the two? Why should I spend my time, energy in pursuing something which is not the better of the two? As simple as that. But to him, it is better of the two. Karma yoga, karma sannyasa. When he speaks of karma sannyasa, let us for the time being translate the word karma as performance of duty. Performance of duty. Good enough. One is performance of duties of life, and other is renunciating the duties of life. That is how he understands. That is how we all understand as of today. Running away or staying in. Of the two, which is better? Because remember, he wanted to run away. Sri Krishna didn't allow him to run away. He said, you have to perform your duty. But Sri Krishna has not disclosed yet thoroughly, completely, that duty can be performed in such a manner that instead of bondage of liking and disliking, you prepare yourself to emancipate yourself, to liberate yourself, to go beyond the duality and be one with the divine. Like the pendulum, it starts from this extreme, egocentric existence, it swings over and stops there when you have divinized yourself. He has not told it yet. So Arjuna asks, between the two, whichever is better, sir, tanme bruhi shunishitam. Tell me without any ambiguity, with certainty, which is the better of the two. This is how the 5th chapter starts. So, Arjuna's questioning, who is, I would always repeat, he is our representative to God. He represents us with all our woolly-headed, silly questioning. And God is patient with His children to help them to re-educate themselves and reach the desired goal. So, Sri Krishna says here in the 2nd shloka, and from there, the explanation, description, and etc. continues. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Sri Krishna says, Sannyasa karma yogascha. Sannyasa and karma yoga. Ubhau nishreyasha karo. This is something, world-shaking idea. What does it mean? Karma sannyasa, if performed in a correct, defined manner, if it is followed as it is correctly defined in the right manner, and karma yoga, performance of your duty, if it is performed in a correct manner, both of them lead to the same goal. Apparently poles apart, but Sri Krishna says both of them are means to that same goal, Atyantika dukkha nivritti, paravasukha prapti. Negatively, total cessation of the very concept of agony, misery, unhappiness, sadness. That doesn't exist in your concept anymore. And positively speaking, paravasukha prapti. Indescribable, sublime, divine bliss. Both these methodologies, karma yoga, karma sannyasa, they lead to the same goal. Call it moksha, call it mukti, call it liberation, call it realization, call it freedom. We are not bothered. We are bothered about the psychic concept of these words. What happens to me? So, Sri Krishna lays the foundation idea, the idea which is the foundation of Vedanta philosophy, which Swami Vivekananda ji has translated into a concept of a universal religion. A religion which is not my religion or your religion. It's a religion for the whole humankind, notwithstanding to what denomination you and I belong to. Hinduism has infinite number of subsections. Islam has many varieties. Christianity has many denominations. Each and every teaching of the incarnation, the founders of a particular faith and belief, they speak of the same language. But subsequently, in course of time, when the followers try to philosophize it, make it into a faith, a belief, a religion. They run after each other's throat with open knife. My religion is better than yours. Why? Because my ego is stronger than yours. My religion is better than yours. This is what the world is seeing. And Sri Krishna in summary here says, both the methodologies, two aspects of Hindu discipline, they lead to the same goal. Goal is one. The paths are many. As Swamiji described, conceive of a circle. What does a circle comprise of? A center, a circumference, and multiple number of radii. If you divide the circle into 360 points, you call them degrees. A circle is comprised of 360 equal parts known as degrees. There are 360 points from the circumference. If you draw a perpendicular, it will reach the center. You can't miss it. But it is a catch, must be a perpendicular. That degree is divided into minutes, further divided into seconds. A circle has, check upon me whether I'm right or wrong, 1,296,000 minutes. Seconds. Infinite numbers. Only make sure you draw a perpendicular. Perpendicular means the proper following of the discipline laid down by God or by a realized soul. You will reach the goal. This is what universal religion means. The word, the word Vedanta. The climax of experiencing the whole world is the manifestation of the divine. What is this world? There are four concepts. Name, form. Name is Dharma in Sanskrit. Form is Rupa. Guna is qualities. And Artha Kriyakarita is its utilitarian value in the society. The whole world exists on these four concepts. And there is an infinite permutation and combination between these four. That is what the world is. But there is only one eternal wisdom. That is, thou art that. Tattvam asi. And in other religions, man is made in the image of God. The purpose of human life is to find the way to its maker in heaven. Why? To enjoy eternal happiness in paradise. Eternal happiness in paradise. That's the goal. In Islam, to be a perfect Khuda ka banda, a devoted servant of the divine. Each and every religion speaks the same thing, in different language, in different traditional ways. The Vedanta says, we are all children of the divine. And our goal of life is to enjoy eternal happiness where the concept of misery and unhappiness and sadness has totally disappeared. Atyantika dukkha nivritti parama sukha prapti. Here he lays the foundation of this universal concept. Ubhau tau nishrayasha karo. Both of these principles, karma sannyasa and karma yoga, are means to the realization of the ultimate reality, which is to be experienceable, but not describable, because it is beyond these four pillars of Dharma, Rupa, Guna, Artha, Kari. So, he says so, that karma sannyasi and karma yogi, in the perfect manner performed, leads to the same goal. Now he has been using the word sannyasa several times. And one who follows the discipline of sannyasa is known as a sannyasi. Now, dears, the words change their meaning. A person who has made it a vow to be a real sannyasi, he chooses his profession, as each one of us has the freedom to choose our profession. So a person exposed to these ideas, he chooses, I will be a sannyasi. And Acharya Shankara laid down classified methodology of being a sannyasi. What does it mean? A collared dog means it has a master. A person who takes certain vows in his life in presence of fire and God and a group of monks as witnesses, he wears this color. This is nothing but the collar of a dog, knowing a master. You have a master. They are called sannyasis. Therefore, sannyasis have been defined in 4 different categories. The most important is vividishu sannyas. I want to reach there. I want to be a whole-timer. I don't want to waste my time in any other pursuit but one, to be one with God. That is samyak nyasa. That is in totality the rejection of anything else but God. Reject everything else, but don't reject God. That is sannyasa. So, it is Sri Krishna's duty to explain to us properly who is really a sannyasi. Read the 3rd shloka, dear. We are going deep into the subject. I'll beg of you to pay due attention to this subject. Gya sa nitya sannyasi. Sri Krishna, Sri Bhagavana continues. Gya sa nitya sannyasi. Let us stop here. Gya, know for certain, sa, he, is nitya sannyasi. For all times to come, he who never deviates from that concept of total rejection, know him to be a real sannyasi, not wearing this color. Go beyond that. A person who attitudinally, temperamentally have totally rejected few things of his own psyche is Nitya Sannyasi. He is ever known to be a sannyasi. Who is he, my dear? I'm dying to know. Who is that definition? Nitya Sannyasi? Who is he? Yaha, he who na dveshti na kankshati. He desires nothing from this world. He is not attached to anything of this world. And if, according to your views, the world is unfair to him, he doesn't grumble. He doesn't groan. He doesn't moan. He's as cool as a cucumber. He's unshakable in his faith. He is Nitya Sannyasi, jo na dveshti na kankshati. Let me be very commonsensical. What these two words mean, dvesha and akanksha. Dveshti is a derivative from the word desha grammatically, and kankhati means he who has no akanksha, desire. Now let us see. Look at ourselves. I want this. Let me make myself an example to you. I desire, I want, my efforts should not go in vain. You should understand what I am trying to tell you. I am a victim of this desire, however noble it may be, but I am nonetheless a victim of this desire. What is the end result of this desire, dear? After the talk, someone comes and tells me, "Oh Swami, it was excellent. Because my desire is fulfilled, I hit the ceiling with joy." Happy. I'm happy. I'm in cloud 9. Sorry. And some of you, very honest student, comes and tells me, "Swami, pardon me, forgive me, I did not understand a bit. It went above my head." And what happens to the Swami? His desire is not fulfilled, and he falls on mud with a thud. He is depressed, he is sad, he is miserable. All my efforts have gone down the drain. This is an example, dear. Now let us look at ourselves. Each and every act of ours in this life is motivated by a desire to have or a desire to avoid. I don't want to be miserable. And if I am miserable, I am depressed. And if I am not miserable, I am happy, I am in cloud 9. I am selling myself away to my mood swings. Because your opinion, you have understood, I am happy. You did not understand, I am unhappy. That is what our life is like. This is just an example. Please Be observant on yourselves and see for yourself whether I am right or wrong. When you are happy, you observe, you analyze, and you will see some of your desires have been fulfilled. Your expectations have been fulfilled, either avoidance of misery or advent of happiness. That is how our life goes, swinging like a pendulum between pleasure and pain. Sri Krishna now explains to us, Gya sa nitya sannyasi. Know him for certain. He is for all times to come. Enjoys the prefix of being a sannyasi. Definition of a sannyasi: who expects nothing, rejects nothing. Seek not, refuse not. In English there's idiom. Seek not, refuse not, you'll be happy. The same idea we find here, which we find in a different culture. That means thoughtful people all over the world have found out a way how to lead a peaceful life by totally rejecting expectations from this world. That is samyak nyasa. Samyak means in totality. Nyasa means rejection. I have educated myself with this attitudinal correction of my attitude. I live in this world doing my duties without any expectation. How can that be possible? Desire is the original initiative, is the original motivation. Without a desire, how can activity be possible? He says, listen to me carefully. One desire to be one with God will never bind you down. That is what karma yoga is. I convert my life, my whole behavior pattern, my emotional life, my intellectual life, from all aspects of my psyche, my personality. I want nothing but God. What about it? You have a desire. That is your motivation. What is that motivation? I want nothing else but God. This desire is welcome. No other desire is welcome. And this desire is not harmful, it is helpful. That is how the concept of converting work into worship, karma and puja, work and worship, has been enunciated by the Gita itself. Have a little patience. Sri Krishna will teach you how to convert your flow of life from being a karma bhogi, suffering the results of your actions, to a karma yogi, how the result of your actions will lead you to Paramashanti, eternal, divine, ecstatic joy. Gya sa nitya sannyasi, jo na dveshti na kangshati, nirdando hi mahabaho, Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. When you have mastered this attitude, you do not swing like a pendulum between so-called joy and happiness. You are stable. Sthita pragya. He has already defined it as a motivator to you in the second chapter. The definition, description, behavior pattern of a realized soul, a mature person of wisdom. Sthita pragya. Na prarishayit priyam prapyam. Na udviyet prapya chapriyam. Sthira buddhi rasam moda. What does he say? He does not get elated by fulfillment of his desires. Neither he is anxious. Why did not my desire get fulfilled? I feel bad. He doesn't feel bad about it. He is beyond this dual throng. Nirdvandha. He has gone beyond this dual throng of pleasure and pain, happiness and unhappiness, misery, sadness, joy and ecstasy. He lives his own life established in the awareness of presence of the divine every moment of his life. This is how the 5th chapter starts. What is the real meaning of the word sannyasa? Samyak, in totality, in completeness. Nyasa, rejection. And we people, with all sorts of woolly-headed ideas, we say, oh, leaving this is sannyasa, rejecting this is sannyasa, not to eat this is sannyasa, to eat this is regular. All these make-believes, woolly-headed ideas, pardon me taking a bit of liberties, all these stupid woolly-headed ideas sell in the name of sannyasa and dharma. Let us hear from God incarnate himself. What does sannyasa mean? Sukham bandhat pramuchyate, the last quarter of the shloka. If you can be so, if you can do that to yourself, sukham, with great ease, you can develop that attitudinal correction. You don't need to fight much. The amount of struggle that you do to gain name, fame, wealth, position, and etc., compared to that struggle, this is no struggle at all. It is a joyous, joyful, adventurous, spiritual journey. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you ever so much for this patient hearing. God willing, the Holy Mother willing, we meet again next Sunday. Thank you. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.